I've given you a hard time over the last couple episodes about how sleepy Mikel Andrews has been. It's like 2 game nights, too furious. It's just like in this perpetual state of summertime game nights, and now it's my turn to be a little fatigued because I am still riding on the high and coming down off of the excitement that was CybFest Northwest that, of course, happened back on August 3rd at the Kent Commons Community Center in the Seattle area. And it feels like it was just yesterday. I'm so excited to chat about it, but also I'm excited that it's over.
Right. Well, and I'm in the opposite boat. I'm wide awake. I'm dialed in because of the CybFest. I want to hear about it. I want to live through it. But yeah, your notes from the last couple of times about me being sleepy must have dug in because I'm dry sober. I've had my coffee. I've had my B vitamins. I made sure I got to bed. I mentioned about 15 times yesterday. I was like, I got to get to bed on time so I can get enough sleep. So I'm wide awake for the show. So we're good to go. I've had my Mr. Burns razor blade throat thing that he has I'm ready and dialed in.
Well, that's amazing. So we're going to start off our 2-part season finale. Obviously, it's the finale of season 2 of Transformers Animated. We're going to be talking about A Bridge Too Close Part 1 in this episode. But before we get into that, we'll want to do a bit of CybFest recapping. And I have an entire box. And Mikel Andrews, maybe look at this box. It's going to become very familiar to you because this is the box that will be showing up at your residence at some point after this recording, and I figure out how to bundle things up. But so I have a lot of items that I will show and tell. I have a bunch of stories, but I also know from our times when we've talked about TFCon in the past or any other type of situation that basically not unlike Jet Li in that regrettable film Unleashed, where he's got like a collar on his neck and Bob Hoskins like flicks it out and he becomes the titular Unleashed or something like that. I'm not doing that very well, but basically once I get going, I know I will just go for a while. And I think
that film analogy, we all saw what's going to happen here.
Exactly. So I know once I start going, I'm going to just go. But before that happens, I still got the collar on. I still got the Jet Li collar on.
He's leashed.
Yeah. So you're Bob Hoskins in this situation. Do you want to start off by asking me questions? Just to maybe kick things off. That way you feel like you have some control over the narrative as opposed to just me just spewing.
No, I kind of want it to just happen at me. I guess I'm really curious about the transforming contest. That's been,
of course,
the minute I wake up in the morning, I wipe away the cold sweat and I go, what was the robot that they transformed at the contest? I have to know this. So I've been staying spoiler free. This is like a role reversal now. You're the serial rewatcher of CybFest, and I'm like, tell me your spoilers.
Okay, so I'll talk about the transforming contest briefly, because I spoilers alert, I was in a different room when that happened, so I didn't actually watch the transforming contest myself. But the figure that we used for the contest was Towline. That was basically the Target exclusive repaint of one of the new deluxe Junkions. I don't remember who he's a repaint of, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else entirely. But he's very green.
Yeah.
Green. Basically, kind of like a almost a long arm type character because he's a he's a tow truck. And the thing that zany with that run of characters is that they're modular, in that you can combine all of your Junkions into a junk beast. And one of the more ambitious ideas that we had for something we were going to do for CybFest was like, show off your Junkion monsters, because like we've seen folks basically make like a Triptychon out of like Junkion parts, and pretty impressive, because like you've got enough pieces at this point, like enough like scoops and hooks and arms and things like that. So instead we might still do that in the future, but for this it was just straight across transforming. So anyway, so with the transforming contest, it was tow line, and the winner of the contest got, in addition to some raffle tickets, they got a CybFest Northwest 2024 sticker.
I love that.
Incidentally, this design is still available on our TeePublic store. It's still on the t-shirt they're wearing. In fact, incidentally, since we're doing video here, I have like I got dressed up in the colors one last time. I got my whole CybFest lanyard and medallion, including a badge ribbon from the Swerve Bar folks. I got a wrist full of friendship bracelets. So I'm really kind of like living that aesthetic here.
Yeah, you're back in hallway mode at CybFest. Like you're cosplaying CybFest Mike Seibert right now.
Yeah, I'm CybFest Mike Seibert. But yeah, no, so that was a ton of fun. I have a box of stuff that I would like to show off. So and I think some of my stories will kind of come from that. So
gimme.
So first and foremost, so I'm going to kind of bookend this, because it's like I have a very large thing at the bottom of the box that I will share with you and Mikel Andrews here. But like, I want to start off with the thing that everybody is excited about, and it is CARBOT DARCY, our exclusive figure. So as you could see here on the video, apologies to audio only podcast listeners, it is very much a G1 inspired box. Has a window box where you can see the figure inside, and it is a fully realized piece where we have art from Ben Hansen on the back, tech specs. And I'm not even going to read all of this, because like, there's even like robot points and like everything to really kind of do it up. It's like, and I was, every time Alex would share pictures of this, I would say, you are making this for me. Like, I feel like literally he made this set for me, because it's, the figure is terrific as well, but also this box, this packaging is just amazing. But the thing I want to show off here for the video folks is on the box. I mean, it has the top there where it's, the traditional G1, start, change, finish.
Wow.
But I also got it autographed by the one and only Sue Blue.
God, Lord, that's the ultimate.
It's really, really cool.
You just took them out, ultimate souvenir exclusive, and made it more exclusive and souvenir. Like that's incredible.
Exactly.
Wowza.
So I'm gonna carefully flip open the box to access the figure. It's very easy. It's just a flip open box. But just to talk about the level of detail that Alex put into this, something he didn't even have to do. Check this out. He made instructions for it, but look at it as I unfold it. It is, these are fully realized instructions in that G1 style, like with the 100%. Black and white and the colors on it.
Wow.
Like, he didn't even have to do this. He did it because it's fun and it's awesome.
Oh, so man, that is a passion project right there.
Absolutely. It is in every way, shape, and form a labor of love. So huge ups to Alex Gobb and Blue Forge for making this a reality. It is just so cool. So basically, like, within the box, there is a molded in plastic tray that he made. Casted this himself. Literally everything. Well, I don't think he milled the cardboard himself, but literally everything is handmade. Like, so here's a little bit of the figure in car mode. I'm not gonna transform her, because like, I don't know if I have the dexterity to be able to do it on camera effectively. And since it is handmade, she is fragile. So I do want to be very careful. But like, and what makes
gorgeous.
Alex has talked about doing other versions of Darcy later on, but he's also committed to, this is kind of like a breaking news story, or an exclusive story for the Two Mics audience. The thing that will make this version of CARBOT Darcy unique is the chrome grill. So it's like if he makes more, they won't have a chrome grill, therefore making this figure truly unique to CybFest Northwest 2024. But
so 20 years in the future, someone's at TFCon, they're looking at CARBOT Darcy's, they're going, this is the pre-chrome exclusive version, or they're like,
yeah,
this is the one after the show, I want the exclusive one.
Well, and yeah, so like those will be in boxes like this, you know, whereas like he's there's a, you know, spoiler alert, I intend to do some kind of further reviewing on CARBOT Darcy, and because like folks were saying like, oh man, well you guys should send one to Bobby Skullface for him to review, and I'm like, or I could just review one, but so I'm gonna do something on the Mike Seibert radio channel with regards to CARBOT Darcy. But like there is, if you follow Blue Forge on Facebook and you saw some of Alex's pictures from CybFest, there is another box design aside from the CybFest exclusive box that he is going to make one for me. So it's very G1 styled. In fact, it's so G1 styled that you can't make more of them and put them with a figure that you're selling. But because Alex knows I'm such a voracious box collector that he I asked him for one and he's gonna make one for me. So once I get that other special box in hand, I will do a review where I will talk about and show off CARBOT Darcy in more detail and talk about all of this other stuff. And plus I have some audio from Alex from our organizers roundtable panel where he kind of talked about the making of the figure a little bit. Basically, like in brief, where it started is it starts as a 3D printed figure that he cast molds around, and then so basically silicone molds, and then has done injection molding since then. So so CARBOT Darcy is not a 3D printed figure. It's not a custom figure from another figure. It's literally made from the ground up. So it's like when I say this is like handmade, he's literally screwed in all of the pieces, like like it's literally hand screwed. I'm glad Lita's not on this episode with that. But yeah, I mean,
she's dialing in.
I mean, you talk about literally a labor of love, and it's just, I mean, I could go on and on about CARBOT Darcy, but like, there's so much more to CybFest than just the exclusive figure. I felt bad when I was on other podcasts, and like, they would have so many questions. It's like, oh man, is it 3D printed? Is it injection molded? You know, tell me about this, tell me about that. And at a certain point, it kind of clicked. It's like, well, we're only selling 30 of them, and those will be gobbled up instantly. And they were, you know, the CARBOT Darcy figures did go very, very quickly. But like, it's like, I kind of felt bad about how much I was hyping it up because almost nobody was going to get it. So like, it kind of made me a little bashful towards the end in terms of like how much I wanted to promote it and how much I wanted to talk about it. But for folks that are asking, because this is a question that I've been asked a lot leading up to and in the wake of CybFest Northwest 2024, will there be more? All I could say is that Alex is working on some stuff that may include a mechanism to where he can make more CARBOT Darcy figures, but nothing is concrete. Nothing is, you know, set in stone. Never say never, but for now, this run is complete and there will be no more specific CARBOT Darcys in this box, in this style, in these colors. So, and so basically like Alex owns the molds. It's his figure. He can do more if he wants, but like this run is what makes it a CybFest Northwest 2024 exclusive. So just to give point of clarification on that, folks can reach out to me on socials with further questions, and I'll answer as best as I can. But I would also steer you toward the Blue Forge page. I'll include a link in the show notes. He's pretty prolific on Facebook. In fact, I think that's the only social media that Alex uses. But he has phenomenal pictures there, including one he did in prototype colors, as well as some other terrific pictures of he and his dad Greg, who is kind of like the father of CybCon, the predecessor to CybFest. But anyway, like they cosplayed as Sparkplug and Spike Witwicky. Like Greg had a wrench he was toting around. So really, really cool stuff. I might have to post some pictures somewhere on the Two Mic stuff to share some of the stuff, but like really, really fun stuff. So I'm going to run through this box with
what's in the box?
This stuff that I see, and I'll tell some more stories as well. So I talked about the CybFest Northwest artwork that we have. It came on a sticker. It also comes on a button that we gave out to attendees. So those are out in the world.
I love that design.
It's terrific. And our lead event coordinator, Ben, who is one of the co-owners of CybFest, his brother did the zooming RC art. He's a graphic designer, and really brought that aesthetic to the zooming RC, which we're pretty excited about. A piece that I believe only myself and my fellow show organizers have is I have a CybFest Northwest Lego brick. And
cool.
And basically, so like we had the local Seattle Lego builders come in and do a display. But like they have, very similar to like the badged ribbon I showed off earlier, they have kind of like, I don't know how you would describe it. Like I watch a lot of dumb cop shows, and like those New York cops seem to have like a bunch of like ribbons and badges and stuff on like their badges. And for events that Lego builders do, they build these, and since they're Lego, they append them to like their badges and stuff. So it's like neat. Every time you do
sure.
So like this is a thing for Lego builders. Like I'm not supposed to have this. I'm not a Lego builder.
Give it here.
Because like since I'm part of the organization team, they Ben was kind enough to hook me up with one of these as well. So very, very cool. So it's like it's kind of the beginning of our ongoing partnership with the local Lego builders to do more stuff at CybFest. Lego display was really, really cool. They had like a whole G.I. Joe action scene. They had like a whole cityscape with various like Easter egg transformers and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Love it.
All right, let's do some toys. In fact, this is going to tie directly into the episode we're going to talk about today, A Bridge Too Close Part 1. And I got a toy that's deeper in there, but I want to talk about an animated figure I got. I got myself a Skywarp.
Yeah.
I have
wow. Yeah. Talk about topical.
I mean, specifically topical. I want to spend some time on this box. I know it's like, Mike, come on, man. You can't talk about every box of every figure. But no, this is minor spoilers. I did pick this up coincidentally after I had watched the episode. Just a random coincidence because it is Spoiler Town, USA. But I want to talk about this figure. One, first of all, it is a used copy that just happens to be in the box, but I think it's been retaped or something. I can't figure out how to open this box to get him out to play with him. I am going to take him out, but like I wanted to do so gently without like, because like I mean like there's dents in it. There's like, it's been smushed and crushed and things like that. But anyway, I can't figure out how to get him out, so I'm not going to show him off here on the video. But I do want to talk about this box and kind of talk about how I encountered him. I actually bought him from the same dealer that I bought the big thing that's in the bottom of the box that I'm going to show off last. But like, I'm just like, well, I already bought this other thing. How much you asking for Skywarp? Shrug, $10. I'm like, sold.
Hey.
Cool. So anyway, so I got a screaming deal from Peggy on this guy.
$10?
Yeah.
For box Skyward. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he's not, mint sealed in box. Like, he's got, his missiles are floating around in there.
No, but still,
Oh,
I mean, I
you
don't think I've found a single animated figure for less than 10.
Right. I mean, shoot, I paid 20 for an Activator's Bumblebee. But okay, so let me pause there for a quick sec. I'll talk about Skywarp more in a sec, but like, let me talk about what CybFest is and what CybFest isn't, kind of conceptually, because this was a lot of conversations that were going around. Obviously, we're growing as a convention. We have a lot of cool stuff. We have an exclusive figure. We have a very special guest in Sue Blue. But I've said that CybFest at its core is a toy show. It's a dealer show. And it is, but like that was crystallized even further for me while I was there in a way I never thought about it previously. CybFest is the kind of dealer show that you go to get deals. Not necessarily that you buy like new mint in box stuff. There are dealers that have that stuff, like Kicks Generation Toys has like all of like the new stuff, a bunch of third-party stuff, a lot of mainline stuff, but mostly folks are there for deals. And like I said, I hadn't really thought about it in that context previously, but knowing some of the deals that I got, I understand it now more than I did previously. I had some stuff at my media table, like I sold some figures, and ironically enough, all of the ones that I sold were loose. Like all of like my mint and box guys, shelf warmed or peg warmed for lack of a better term. Like I ended up taking those back home, putting them back on my shelf. But my loose guys, like I sold a Siege Springer and like a Kingdom Blaster, like basically like figures that I have replacements for or replacements on the way. Like I have a Studio Series 86 Springer coming. I don't need a Siege Springer anymore. So sold him. Same thing with like Kingdom Blaster. I have a Studio Series 86 Blaster. I don't need a Kingdom one anymore.
Sure. Yeah, I was kind of curious what your the loose ones that you sold were, or what was the criteria for that. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Basically like redundant figures, for lack of a better term, and or figures that just don't have a place in my collection. Like one of the figures that I sold was Siege. I think it's War for Cybertron. It's one of the three trilogies in the trilogy. It was Slam Dance, who is basically it's Autobot Battle Trap, where like the G1 version is like two cassettes that kind of like one was they were cassette bots, but one turned into a tank, the other one turned into a jet, and like they stack on top of each other and become how is that? I don't remember. But anyway, this figure I have is basically it's a repaint of Battle Trap, which is like a plane and a jet that stack on top of each other and then combine into a robot guy. I don't remember if the cassettes do that or not. But anyway, the
cassettes do that.
Okay. Yes. So they're triple changers. Like they go from cassette to tank to half.
No.
No, they just stack it to a robot guy.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's what I thought. Because like folks were asking me, and I ran into this same level of confusion. Anyway, he was part of a 2-pack that I got for G2 Sideswipe. He was an Amazon exclusive, to where it was G2 Covert Clone Sideswipe, the one that's like in like black and red. And he came in a 2-pack with this other guy. Well, I don't need the other guy anymore because like he was on my shelf for a while, but he's really kind of orphaned. And kind of that was kind of the theme of my table of the figures that I were selling. Yeah, well, they were Descendants of the Void. Like if you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, like the Void becomes like a huge plot point. And that's so all of my figures were basically folks that had been exiled to the void and needed to be rescued. Nobody got that joke. People just wanted to buy figures, and that's fine.
Right.
So anyway, so I sold him and a couple other loose knickknack dudes. But basically, like my dude Chandler had asked me, he's like, "What? Well, how come you're selling this guy?" And I'm like, "Well, he doesn't have a spot in my collection." So it's like I'm trying to like find a way to focus. You know, the majority of my figure collection is Transformers the movie 86 characters, either through the Studio Series 86 line or the most reasonable counterparts. Like, you know, I've got like Kingdom Cyclonus, which I will probably, if they ever end up doing him in Studio Series 86, I'll probably sell him. You know, like I have like a Quintesson Judge and like a couple Alicons and folks they haven't done in that Studio Series 86 line, but it's mostly 86 guys. But then other stuff. I've got a bunch of sound waves. I've got a bunch of Boba Fett and friends, or kind of
you
like
have a bunch of sound waves and Boba Fett's. This is shocking.
Exactly. I have like a whole shelf that's like Mandalorian and friends. Like I've like if they have a bucket on their head with a T-visor, I'm now collecting it because like I found a lot for like a reasonable price that's kind of like a collection starter, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess now I'm into this line now. Whoops. So I now have as many Mandalorian troop builders as I do side swipes. It's really a damn problem. But now I have like a budding animated collection. Like I've got all of the current legacy versions. I have my vintage deluxe Bumblebee, and now I have a Skywarp to add to that collection as well. Because like I can't figure out if I want to collect vintage animated or not. Like I saw a bunch of animated figures, but the thing that's interesting is like, you know, we talked last year about how there were a lot of really good figures at decent prices. Like, you know, again, like a mint on card Snarl for $40 that Mikel Andrews didn't want because he wants one loose. It'll probably end up costing him the same.
I'll never open it. If I get it boxed, I'll never open it.
I understand, but I found like a mint on card Sentinel, a Cybertronian mode Ironhide, and a bunch of other dudes. Like a couple folks were trying to urge me to pick up a Dark Star Megatron for what they told me was a really good price, a little too out of my price range, but it's still a cool looking figure. Point being, I don't know what I want to collect with animated, because here's another thing. I don't know if it's, I'm reluctant to call it the Two Mikes Too Furious effect, but the prices have been going up. And I notice figures more that are costing more than they did last year.
Yeah.
Like figures that were $40 are now $60, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
that's interesting. If I can jump in, because you do see that, and I wonder if it is sort of in relation to, you know, there's two types of collectors, right? Like there's the one that's like the new legacy figures come out of an animated design and they go, oh cool, this is exactly the niche thing that's missing from my collection. Finally a proper new modern version of these classic characters. Perfect. Then there's the people that see that and they go, oh, you know what, I did love Transformers animated, I want to fill that gap in my collection. I'm going to jump all in on the retro vintage figures. Yeah. So I can see it going both ways, and it probably does equally 50-50 go both ways.
It will be interesting to see how, or if they continue with the animated characters in Legacy, because quite frankly, it well documented on this show already, I already have the Optimus I want. Like there are none of the vintage Optimus figures that scratch the itch that the Legacy United one already does for me. It's like he's got the best axe. He aesthetically looks like how he ought to look. The other figures just they look of their time, and that's okay. But like for where my collection is kind of structured around more contemporary stuff, he fits right in. And really, when you showed off your Voyager Starscream that Aaron from APDC gave you, it's like, ooh, he looks pretty cool. So now that I've got this Skywarp, in fact, it doesn't quite do it the justice, but man, that paint job is so cool. Like I wish that I had become a Skywarp guy, because I love this color scheme so much. I don't know why I didn't stick with the character and become like a fan of him, because even like, spoiler alert for when we get to it, when he shows up in the episode, it's just like, man, that color is so cool. Like the black with the
Ooh, I'm excited to talk favorite Starscream clones.
We'll get there.
I have one too.
Yeah. So I want, but I do kind of want to talk about this box, because this box is rotten with information. So first of all, it's got a little sticker that says Transformers Animated now on DVD. This has a 3 out of 4 advanced conversion level. He is a Voyager class figure, but if I hadn't seen the episode already, there is a spoiler right on Front Street. It's so you got Skywarp with double missile blast, but on the side, which I love the packaging for TFA. I love like the asymmetrical box and stuff, very similar to the logo, but check this out. Skywarp is the cowardly clone of Starscream, ! Right there. It's right there. Now, here's the other thing that's funny, and I don't mean to get too far ahead into the episode discussion, but like, I know that there are toys that aren't represented in the show. So it's like, so if you call this like, oh, the cowardly clone of Starscream, shrug, whatever, that can mean anything. Right. I learned from Ben when I was talking about after I purchased this figure, apparently they did Starscream, Skywarp, Sunstorm, but not Thundercracker. Like Thundercracker was
That's
like
wild.
Because like it was going to be like in a later wave after the line was canceled. So some of them showed up in Europe or Australasia or some other territory. Thundercracker is like stupid expensive. It's like a holy grail animated figure. Incredibly tough to get. But anyway, I wanna read off of the back of the bio for Skywarp here before I put this away.
Sure.
Skywarp, fearful super pilot. Skywarp wouldn't call himself a coward. He'd call himself smart. So what if he runs away from combat? Fighting is dangerous! ! All these missiles and lasers could really hurt someone! As a clone of Starscream, he's got all the power and skill of the leader of the Decepticon Air Forces, but none of the courage or ambition. He could easily be one of the most dangerous Decepticons of all time, but since he screams and runs away the second a shot is fired, he's mostly just a joke. So he there's more. He has galactic powers and abilities. He gets
Who doesn't though?
Right? His galactic powers and abilities include get shot in the back more than any other Decepticon. Uses his teleportation ability to run away faster. I have questions. And then even just seeing a picture of Megatron gives him nightmares. Learn more at transformers.com. But yeah, look at this. He's got like hidden arm lasers and flip down missiles. I mean, like this figure's got it all. Like I got to figure out which piece of tape to cut here because I really want to mess with this guy. But anyway, he's got a little quote here. They're heading for us, run. I mean, just like
that's awesome.
There is so much lore in this package. Like this CybFest discussion became like a TFA Skywarp review all of a sudden. Even I think I talked about this figure more than I did Darcy, but anyway, I'm gonna put him aside because like
you'll have when you figure out the tape situation, you'll have to take him on the Cracktastic Plastic podcast and unbox with them. That'd be a cool one to do.
I forgot there was two more small things I wanted to show here. So first of all, like, you know, I spun this all the way around and talked about all like the other stuff on there, but there's also advertising for other figures available. So on the bottom, Skywarp is a Voyager class figure. And here, yeah, I know, fucking spoilers. You got also available Swindle, Elite Guard Bumblebee, who looks very black and blue, Swoop with his club, and Blur. So again, man, I sure am glad I watched the episode before I saw this. And man, I am glad that I saw another episode before I bought this toy, because check this out. Those are deluxe class figures. There's other Voyager class figures available, including Grimlock, but also Shockwave. Look at a very long arm looking Shockwave right there. Yeah. Goodness. I'd be like, okay, so in this picture, he has the Shockwave head, but again, he looks very long arm in this picture. But anyway, that's enough about that.
I mean, I think you can look at that now and be like, see that, but I think we were all pretty, if I'm remembering the APDC reactions as well, everyone was like, whoa, what? That's Shockwave? I think it's pretty well hidden. But yeah, once you see the reveal, you go, oh yeah, there's the long arm right there. How did we not see
right there?
He's right there.
Amazing.
I do have to mention one thing really quick, because that Slam Dance talk, I had to bust out my Warman's Transformer Field Guide.
Okay.
Slam Dance actually does turn into cassettes and a tank and a jet and a stacked up robot guy. They are triple changers.
Smokes.
Yeah, I did not know that until just now. Walking it back.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's see. I got a couple more things to show off. First of all, like I said, I have I have a full wrist full of friendship bracelets, including, I'm going to take these off just for fun, and then I'll put them back on. I have a Soundwave one gifted to me by Whirl.
That's your boy.
I have a Megatron friendship bracelet gifted to me by Trish from the Swerves Bar group, full of red stars and silver and black beads there. Very animated. I would,
yes, I think so.
With the amount of red, black, and silver there. I don't talk about this as much as I should, but I have my classic Soundwave friendship bracelet that I got from Val, Lord of the Torbs, back at TFCon LA earlier this year.
Awesome. And
then I have in colors of red, white, and blue, I have I can't stretch. I should just show it on my wrist. A Two Mikes, Two Furious.
Wow.
Also from Whirl.
That's awesome.
And lastly, but certainly not leastly, this actually is not my friendship bracelet. My wife, Lucky, is letting me borrow it, but she also got a friendship bracelet from Whirl in blue and silver and gray for her Transformers OC Miss Attitude, which I haven't talked about my wife or her Jeep or her Transformers OC here on the podcast, so we're making it canon now, because it was so funny. Lucky was helping me leave this morning, and she's like, do you want to take my friendship bracelet? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, well, if I do that, I have to take this other thing and make a whole damn story about it. So in brief, my wife drives a Jeep Wrangler that is a vibrant royal blue, very similar to my CybFest t-shirt here. And she loves it very much. And somewhere along the way, I don't even remember what the original genesis for it was. Oh, it was like a COVID thing. Like Apollo was soliciting commissions, and I partnered with Apollo to design an original character based on my wife's Jeep. And we named her Miss Attitude, completely unrelated, because in a separate adventure, my wife had stickers made by a friend of hers that say Miss Attitude on them.
Ah, gotcha.
Probably just referring to my wife, not necessarily as a name for the vehicle.
Right.
And certainly not the name for a Transformers OC character. That would all come years later, because it is a very non-traditional Transformers OC name. But anyway, since Apollo did that design, I've since had several artists commission their take on Miss Attitude, including this from Heximus, also part of the crew. So, and this piece is very, very vibrant. Like got a very expressive face. Hexamus shared with Lucky when we presented it to her. She was thinking very, very Pat Benatar vibes, like she's listening to, like hit me with your best shot type of thing. And included in this is a sticker of the signature Swerves Bar hand holding or heart hands, interlocking heart hands.
Yeah, I love those.
But anyway, so I got a couple different commissions of various artists doing drawings of my wife's Jeep character, and it's become a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
So now it's canon because I got a friendship bracelet and drawings and things of that nature. But speaking of Swerves Bar, I talked about this. I talked about the interlocking hands, but they also do another bit of merch that's not interlocking hands, but is also hands.
Yeah.
Cliff jumper middle fingers. So
that's so amazing.
So, but look at this packaging. It's in a little Buddha bag, and they got their logo, and it's very well done. These are nice, thick safety pins that I was going to pin onto my CybFest lanyard here, but I thought that would be perhaps too heavy right away. It's like Mike's just coming out with middle fingers, but real thick, very, very substantial. Of course,
like a Generation 1 Xbox controller thick.
Oh my God, you're right. Look at that. Yeah, very thick. But yeah, because I had the Swerves Bar folks on my podcast, and I was like, yeah, the interlocking heart hands, sure, those are cute, those are fine, but where are the middle fingers? Because these took TFCon by storm, and they did another run of them. So I'm glad Onyx was able to do another run, and they gifted me these. So I was very
I tweeted about those. I was like, how is this? This has to be the most popular thing at any convention. That's so cool.
And it was, and it is.
It talks to a certain type of Transformers fan, right? There's a group of us that are misrepresented, and we want we want to be seen.
Yeah, underrepresented. Yes, exactly. You are seen. You're being heard. I'm going to put these friendship bracelets back on. To tie off the Lucky's Jeep story thing. So, Mikel Andrews, are you familiar with Jeep culture at all? Like the Jeep wave or any of that other?
Not really. Yeah.
Okay. I can't go into it too much now because it's a subculture I barely understand.
I don't think you're allowed to. Is there a Jeep club where you're not supposed to talk about Jeep club?
Kind of. So basically they have a wave, literally if you wave two fingers, that means one thing. If you do a full handed wave, that means a different thing. There's 3 different waves, and my wife knows all of them, and it's a weird secret code. It's weird.
Sure.
But another aspect of Jeep culture is you get when you autocorrect the F word and you're just like fuck, and it always autocorrects to duck. Apparently ducks is a cornerstone of Jeep culture because Jeep drivers will put little rubber duckies in the door handles of other Jeep folks. So I'm walking Lucky out after CybFest is over, and this duck is stuck in her door frame. So it had to have come from a Transformers fan, somebody at CybFest. I don't know who it is, but so it's just a regular rubber ducky. This one happens to be a Cyclops, but it also has a little sign on it that says, "You've been ducked. Nice ride." And again, or even on the bottom written in Sharpie, "Cool Jeep."
Wow.
So this is a cornerstone of Jeep culture. It's weird. Lucky has ducks that she puts out and stuff for other Jeeps.
That's kind of cool, actually.
It's a neat little subculture thing. So anyway, Lucky wanted me to share that since I was sharing the friendship bracelets and the drawing as well. So we did that. I had a bunch of Two Mikes Too Furious buttons that I handed out. I started off with 125. I'm down to 30. So stands to reason over the last year, I've given out about 100 buttons. So
all right, those better be all new listeners. I'm doing the math. We better see the numbers go up.
They're out there somewhere. If you have a 2M, 2F button, and I saw some in people's CybFest halls, just snap a pic, tag us, and we'll repost it. Okay, my
I don't
friend.
even have one of those buttons yet. That's how exclusive they
Well,
are.
you're gonna get some because
Oh, yeah.
You know what? It's in the box.
It's in the box. Actually, I think Darcy was also in that box. So by ipso facto, I believe I get that CARBOT DARCY.
Wow, I see.
Hmm.
But to give a sneak preview, I found a box that fits. So you want people to see this, Mikel Andrews? You want me to show off what's in the box?
Yes, I want to see it too.
I love it. He's so eager.
Oh.
So, but first, I will tell a story. So, well, no, because like this is a thing. This is like a weird Mike Seibert thing, or it's a weird CybFest thing. This couldn't have happened under any other circumstances. One of my regrets for this year's CybFest is because I was running a table, because I was helping with panels and being part of the organization team and running around with my hair on fire. I didn't really get to do a whole lot of shopping, not as much as I would have liked. There were a lot of folks that were there, friends of mine that I didn't really get to see. I got to see a lot of folks, hung around with Chandler, hung around with Garrett, and a handful of other folks that stopped by the table to hang out. But other folks that they're dealers like Ryan King and Travis, and I didn't really get to chat with them too terribly much. But we finished the organizers roundtable panel at about 4:45, and the show ends at 5. So I'm like, oh man, I get back to my table and I start packing up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do like I'm just going to do like a speed run just to see what's there. And I didn't get very far because I came around a corner to a row to a table that I hadn't been to all day. And I see a flash of color out of the corner of my eye. And I stop and I'm just going and I stop and I squeak my sneakers. And I'm like, could that be what I think it is? Now, Mikel Andrews and I have been doing this for almost 2 years now, give or take, using round numbers. And I've been to a number of conventions, and I almost always say, like, is there anything you're looking for? And we talk about a few different things. I've got a pretty good handle on what Mikel Andrews is looking for, and I almost never find it, except for the stuff that I find and decide to let go because we're collectively knuckleheads and let a rescue ratchet and a couple activators.
Oh, let's not get into that.
We're not going to get into that because this has a great ending. I see a flash of color and I go back and I was like, is that what I think it is? Yeah. How much are you asking for it? They tell me. And I'm like, I have a friend of mine who is very interested in that figure. Can I snap a picture of it and send it to him? And I send, unprovoked, though I think Mikel Andrews has gotten used to this cadence to where just, the late Saturday afternoon out of nowhere text, hey, do you want this? So I'm just going to flip open the box and I'm going to show people what was in that text message.
Oh, my God.
I just, out of nowhere, at 4:45 Pacific time. So that was 6:45 your time, something like that.
In my cups of clock.
Yeah, dinner time. I'm just like, do you want this? And for folks listening on the podcast, this is a Ultra Mammoth, which is a repaint of Beast Wars' second big convoy.
Yeah, Beast Wars Neo, I believe.
Oh, okay, sure.
Big convoy. Yeah, the now defunct Transformers Collectors Club, Ultra Magnus repaint of that figure, and it's striking. It's so striking.
It really is.
I like to think about the Mike Seibert 2 years ago that was like, the fuck is Ultra Mammoth, and now here we are.
To where I literally, if I may,
I'll be careful.
him out of the foam here. So there he is, Ultra Mammoth in all of his Ultra Magnus flavored glory. This guy
it's going right on this shelf, my Ultra Magnus shelf, if you can see.
Like his little ears flip out to where he's more mammoth like.
Yeah.
And I mean, it presents beautifully just in this mode. Like this mammoth mode is terrific.
Yeah. I'm so excited. since this came up, I've sent that pic that you sent me to a couple people, and I've been like, yeah, I got it. And even, most of my friends are non-Transformers friends, and they kind of shrug it off. But this is like, something has caught them about this frozen mammoth looking.
Yeah.
People are just obsessed with it. So I've been after it for a long, long time.
So now that I've got my grubby mitts all over it,
Yeah,
Mikel Andrews, he's like, stop touching it.
Too high def. I can see the fingerprints you're leaving.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lick it, but like, check this out. Like his snoot here is a softer rubbery plastic. It's got flex to it. It specifically so you can mess around with it and move it.
Yeah, that becomes his cannon, if I'm not mistaken.
That is
whole headpiece. Cool. Yeah.
So within that box, there is a little sack of doohickeys. I don't know if these missiles are. Well, it looks like there's 2 missiles and maybe like 2 like.
Oh, they're all missiles, actually.
Oh, terrific! Even better. Yeah. But this is sealed. Has the original tape on it.
Cool.
It has not been opened. So anyway, so that's in there, and it's so funny because I thought naively that Ultra Mammoth was a fandom name. I just thought that was shorthand that Mikel Andrews. Oh yeah, Ultra Mammoth. No, my friend. There are. Let me see if I can find it here. I think it's upside down, but like. Yeah. It literally says Ultra Mammoth on it, on the stickers.
Official.
Yeah, so it is officially official. So now cool. Mikel Andrews is now the proud owner of a Ultra Mammoth figure. And if I understand correctly, without disclosing numbers because we don't need to, but like from what I understand, this is a screaming deal.
It was a screaming deal. The price I got for it. But it's still spendy enough that I checked with my partner because we've been, buying house stuff and I've had to lean on her a little bit lately. And I was like, what do you think? It's there. I mean, I ask you for this at every convention, or, it started where I was kind of like, there's no way he'll find this. This will be nothing out of pocket for me. And there it was all of a sudden. And Kate, to her credit, immediately was like, you have to do this. You have to you've been hunting for this so long. It is the missing link of your Ultra Magnus shelf. I needed to do it.
Yeah. Between you and I could probably share this now. I was going to buy it regardless. And it would be one of those things where because I knew, and it would be like something we would figure out in the off season.
Yeah. I was like, I'll never. The thing was, the thing that I went back to, the key for me getting it was, I'll probably never see this in the wild again. And even if I do, in the back of my head, I'll always be like, but you could have got it for that price. Do you really want to pay like double for it or more now?
Right.
I was like, we have to do this. We got to move some funds around.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's why I couch things in, you come to CybFest for deals. I'm sure that's why they cut me that screaming deal on that Skywarp too, is because I bought Ultra Mammoth from them also. Because like that deal was already done. And then I was looking at the table and there was like, is there anything else you want? Because like, again, the show is over. They're looking to pack stuff up. They don't want to take stuff with them. And I was grateful enough to take Skywarp off their hands because like it's a big enough box.
So it was the same table that the Skywarp was at? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so after I had done the Ultra Mammoth deal, they're just like, what else do you want? And and unfortunately, they're like, I didn't intend to want Skywarp, but I was just like, what are you asking for it? And they're like, $10. I'm like, done. Fine. I guess I'm buying Skywarp today.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, cut to me getting that text. I was just settling down for the evening with my cocktail in hand. I was like,
brandy.
Well, it's official. CybFest is over. There's nothing I have to worry about financially. I might as well do whatever I want. And then this screaming hot text comes in from Mike Seibert. Whew.
Yeah.
There it was. Ultra friggin' mammoth.
Well, and again, it's like that couldn't have happened under any other circumstances, because if it was on the other side of the dealer room from where my table was, I never would have made it that far and never would have seen it.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly a CybFest miracle, truly.
I've talked about this in other places, but like I'm not always incredibly spiritual. But one thing I do believe in my bones is that things happen for a reason. You know, you could call it kismet or fate or destiny or whatever. I do believe in the cosmos nudging things certain directions to have these types of outcomes. And I sincerely believe that the planets aligned specifically for that deal to get done, because how else was that going to happen? That's
the unicorn. That's
exactly. It's just nuts. So that's all the stuff I have to show off, though. But I do kind of want to talk about, because like it was more merch focused, I do kind of want to talk about a couple other things regarding CybFest, if I can, while we're here, before we get into the episode. Up top, first of all, shout out to my fellow organizers and everybody that volunteered and helped. CybFest Northwest is literally a family endeavor. Like, you know, we've talked about this before. Like, you know, folks have been like Ben, he talks about his son Statler, who has been coming to CybFest since he was 3 years old. The kid's now 14. So it's like, we've literally watched him grow up. Like, but and several other families are like that as well. And it's like, you know, everybody pitches in to help, you know, spouses, kids, partners. And it's terrific to see this very grassroots, family, community focused group put on this show for the fans. And to the fans, again, we've got the best damn fans, because they're family. We're a community. Like the Pacific Northwest Transformers collector community is a community. I mean, there's a Facebook group for it even, but no, it's like it's, you know, we talk a lot about on this show about, you know, using like school analogies, like as we talk about the season 2 finale, it's kind of like the last day of school. This is kind of the same thing. It's like summer camp. Everybody gets back together for summer camp. It's like a lot of so many hugs, you know, so much reuniting, that kind of thing. And I think maybe that's why CybFest doesn't have as much of a fandom footprint like on, say, like Twitter or Facebook or things like that, because I think folks are just like you wouldn't necessarily like live stream or hashtag like your family reunion. You know, be like hashtag family reunion. No, and CybFest is like that. It's kind of like a family community type of thing. So I think maybe that's some of why there isn't as much of a footprint as folks on the outside looking in would like. But that's what appeals to me, is that it's a community. So again, thanks to everybody for helping making it happen and for making it a success. Sue Blue is an absolute delight. She is a gem.
That's right, Sue.
And if you haven't heard my interview with Sue, check out my other podcast, Mike Seibert Radio, where I got to talk to Sue for like an hour on the phone. And she was delightful. And she talks about kind of Transformers Animated a bit, and kind of how it was like coming back to the character. Mikel Andrews had provided me some really good questions to kind of get her talking about TFA-RC and kind of working with David Kay and coming back to the Transformers fold and the RC character. But one of the bits of wisdom that she left me with in that podcast, because like in my interviews, I ask folks what advice they would have for folks wanting to pursue their own creative interests. Like I've asked all up and down the content creation gamut, whether it be podcasters, writers, YouTubers, what have you, musicians. I just asked them what advice do you have for the kiddos? And Sue said something that I found incredibly moving in its simplicity. Like, first of all, she says, follow your passions. But it sounded like to me, she has said this a number of times, like a lot of her stories. She had terrific stories about her history with Transformers that are iconic at this point, like meeting Orson Welles, meeting Leonard Nimoy, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But the thing that she said that really stuck with me that I had not heard before, she said, people that work a lot because they work a lot. And it's one of those things where it's like, at first blush, it's like, well, that's just like some Yogi Berra kind of like, double talk type of thing. But then you think about it and it's like, well, why do these people work a lot? Well, they work a lot because they work a lot because they work a lot. And really it is a anthem for hard work. And I really, really genuinely appreciated that. And yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, I wasn't expecting that. I was just
I was just gonna say I got the chills when I heard that, and that we got to that part of the recording. I was like, whew.
So and I had the absolute pleasure and delight of having Sue's table being like feet from my media table. So it's like I'm in fact, I think Lucky visited with Sue and her wife more than I did. Like they were just chatting like across the aisle, like pretty much the whole time. And it was great.
That's awesome.
So yeah, she was terrific. She was wonderful in the panel. World did a terrific job hosting the Q&A. Basically like my job was to kind of like help with audience questions, but then like, I work at a professional radio station for a living. That's my day job, but that doesn't mean I am an audio technician. I had some challenges with the PA system. I plugged in my mic, but every time I turned it on, there was like some like loud feedback that was insurmountable. So instead, during our Q&A, it was like folks it was very intimate. Like, I mean, there was, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 people there. Give or take, but it was like very much like a fireside chat with Sue. It was amazing. Like again, she was terrific, but it was just at some point like the microphones just kind of like fade away. Like she's like talking off mic and it's just like intimately connecting with the people that are asking just like from their seats.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was so cool to just kind of be a part of it. So I snapped a couple pictures. Alex, again, Blue Forge, the maker of CARBOT DARCY, the culmination of that panel was that he was able to bequeath Sue his copy that he made for her.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So he was, and it was a moment that he very much wanted. And there was so much legislation about how we're going to do it. Do we do it intimately? Do we do it publicly? And ultimately, we did it to kind of cap off the panel. And I don't know if I've ever seen another person so happy in my life. Just
awesome.
the pride that Alex felt, because he's been having us blow smoke at him for months of like, oh my God, this figure is so amazing. This is everything. I feel like you made this for me. Most of that came from me, but. But it's one thing to kind of get out of the echo chamber and to see Sue be speechless. Like at one point she's like, is this for me? That kind of, that genuineness that was, it's just so sweet. So,
well, there's been, and just to put another slant on it, there's been so few kind of RC figures relatively, and not a ton look like, that sort of like movie aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that has to be a huge nostalgia hit for her, or like that's got to bring back some feelings seeing that specific design represented.
Yeah. And this is, not to dwell too much more on CARBOT DARCY, but like she's literally the figure they didn't make. Like they had made like, prototype sketches of it. And it's literally the figure they didn't make. But like Alex has shared so many pictures of Darcy with G1 Blur, G1 Cup, G1 Springer, and of course the new Walmart reissue of Pink Hot Rod. Seeing Darcy standing next to Pink Hot Rod, it just like I try not to get too emotional about this kind of stuff, but I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This this is the thing that we didn't get in 1986, and now we have it. Like I've got a handful of RC figures. Like there's a Studio Series 86 RC figure that's terrific. That I think is kind of the best version of like that car mode backpack type vibe that looks like the animation model, which not to get on a whole different tangent, I think some of the more contemporary RCs are a little too curvy for my taste.
Sure.
Like people will say like Thrilling 30 is like the gold standard, and it's like, yeah, but not with that wavy tummy. Like it's too sexy for my taste. Right. It's like, you know, tapered in waist, curved tummy, and I'm just like, no, it's two trapezoids stacked on top of each other. That's what RC's midsection should look like. And the Studio Series 86 figure does that. So not to get off on that kind of tangent, but a couple other things I want to mention. Like one of my favorite experiences, you know, because like, you know, it's always about the friends we made along the way. So I'm everything I say is under that umbrella. It's like obviously friendship. So, but like one of the things that really for me, as Mike Seibert gave me a kick, is that we had reps from Paramount Pictures come out. There's a local promotions company in Seattle that represents all of the studios. So it's not like Paramount flew people up. They're local representatives. I just wanted to make sure not represent that incorrectly, because I've said that on a different podcast and people are like, whoa, Paramount's coming out. It's like, okay, it's exactly, easy. Maybe I'm just media jaded. I don't know. But no, so local representatives for Paramount came out. They gave out mini posters for Transformers 1 and gave them out until they ran out, and they had hundreds. So cool. It's like, and I was chatting with the rep later, and she was kind of bummed out that they didn't have more stuff, but keep your ears peeled on the CybFest Northwest social channels on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where as Paramount gives the local reps more stuff, we're going to have some stuff to give away, like t-shirts, prize packs, things like that.
Cool.
We just didn't have them in time for CybFest. But to see the look on these reps' faces when they saw the entirety of CybFest and like the gym and all of the people at like max capacity, because there was like 600 people that were in there at its peak. But to see them be genuinely impressed, like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be this. So we had planned to give away a couple pair of tickets to an advanced screening of Transformers 1. And part of our programming was a exhibition of the current trailer for Transformers 1. It was the one that came out after San Diego Comic-Con. I only know it because there's a couple, like you get a little bit of Steve Buscemi as Starscream, which I had not seen before. But anyway, it's a lengthy trailer. But anyway, so we ran that, and I got to host it, and I'm just like, hey man, who's hyped for Transformers 1? Woo, that kind of thing. And as we watched the trailer, in fact, you would have loved this, Mikel Andrews, because basically we're watching television, but with a live studio audience. So there was like, again, maybe like 30 people in there.
Oh, sure.
And so anyway, we're watching the trailer, and it's going through the PA system, and you know, we're cheering and wooing, very much like a comic convention type of thing. But like what I you know, I'm feeling out the crowd. I'm like, who's hyped? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
that gave me a charge. And I look over at Jason, who is running he's the other co-owner, who was running the presentation. And I'm like, do you guys want to watch it again? Woo! Bring it down the house. And I'm like, Jason, I asked very nicely, and I'm like, can we watch it again? And like, sure. And while it's playing the second time, World chats with the rep, And because like we hadn't quite figured out what the logistics and mechanics of like the ticket giveaway was going to be. And we had said that we wanted to give some away live. And then the rep gives Whirl a number of the number of tickets that we could give away.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes a game of like fast telephone while this trailer is running a second time. So Whirl comes up and I'm talking to Jamal, one of the our dealer coordinator, and we talk to Jason, and it's like, are we doing this? Okay, we're doing this. The trailer ends. Thunderous applause. And I talk a little bit about like, what's your favorite part? And I tell my story about how, ironically enough, connected to this episode now, I was like, yeah, man, you know, when in Megatron Rising, part 1, you know, Megatron is like, you know, Decepticons transform and rise up. And I talked about how much that meant to me and how much it means to me that it's represented in this trailer. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen that trailer yet, by the way.
Right.
But anyway, like I was just talking about how that meant stuff to me. So I was asking like the crowd what they liked or what they're looking for. It was some really cool, you know, man on the street audience stuff. And that fervor kind of dies down. And I was like, how would you like to go to an advanced screening of Transformers 1? Woo. I'm like, well, good. 'Cause you're going. We're all going. We're all going together. They gave us 50 pair of tickets.
No way.
So it's just like, bring everybody. The rep was like,
friggin' room.
Bring everybody. And
Wow.
so, and actually what had happened was like, I don't think it was 50. I think it was 40. But anyway, like, so like Whirl was counting heads and they're like, and I'm vamping. And I'm just like, I'm like chatting with folks and I'm looking back over. I'm chatting, I'm looking back over. And then Whirl gives me thumbs up. And I'm like, good, because we're all going together.
Awesome.
So yeah, so CybFest Northwest will be hosting not 1, but 2 advanced screenings of Transformers 1 coming up soon-ish. So Mikel Andrews, when I get that date, you should fly out and join us.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Because yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, that is very much a Mikel Andrews thing, experiencing a movie with a rowdy group of Transformers fans. Like, you know, it's the same company we partnered with last year for Rise of the Beasts, and we brought a lot of people, but not this many. So awesome. It's like, and that was fun enough. This is going to blow that out of the water. And from all accounts, Transformers 1 is the real deal, and we're all super stoked for it. And it was so cool for me to have that moment with that crowd, with the community, to just say something as simple as, well, good, because we're all going and we're all going together. It's like, that's
how many heads exploded right in front of you? Was it a scanner situation or?
But yeah, no, that was that was such a treat to do, to be able to be part of that. The raffle was buck wild as usual. That was a lot of fun. The coloring contest was tons of fun as well. The Swerves Bar folks did a terrific panel presentation. But yeah, no, in the time I have remaining here, because I know we had kind of baked into the cake that we were going to go kind of long, but I would like to share share a couple different things. Well, first of all, I'm going to share my screen. Some of it is visual, some of it is just me reading. But I'm going to share a screen here. I think it's this one. Did it go? It hasn't gone. Okay, let me try to share my screen again. Present, share screen. Ah, there it is. Okay. So we had a handful of cosplayers come out to CybFest. You had Perceptor, and I would imagine that Matthew Barbario knows Perceptor. He's kind of a groupie for Cybertronic Spree. Like that.
Oh,
That's where I first met Percy. I think that's his preferred name, Percy G1. But anyway, so you had Percy there, and then you had a Jetfire, Earthrise Soundwave, Minor Megatron. That was their first CybFest.
cool.
Had a blast. And Ratchet, who actually, I think this picture was taken later, but Ratchet stopped by my media table and we chatted for a good long while about the podcast Two Mikes Too Furious. We talked about Transformers Animated, and we talked a lot about animated Ratchet.
Yes,
and
good topic.
And obviously they're a huge Ratchet fan, but I was like, I hear so many folks talking about Transformers Prime Ratchet, and that, like, he's like the pinnacle of the Ratchet, and they very pointedly said, well, yeah, sure, of course, great version of the character, but animated made Ratchet grumpy. It's like you don't get Prime Ratchet without animated Ratchet. And and we talked a lot about that. I feel that animated Ratchet it has kind of become underrated just in the shadow of Prime Ratchet, because Jeffrey Combs and that the attitude, the one-liners, it casts a shadow over what's being done with animated Ratchet. And I thought it was cool to connect with a fan who felt the same way I did. That was just like, no, animated Ratchet is pretty cool and very influential and iconic for the franchise. Like, I don't think you get to these more popular iterations of the character without animated Ratchet kind of blazing that trail. But it was super cool to there was a couple other cosplayers that I did not show on my
well, as you cue that up, that's a great point, though, because that's how I kind of felt about Transformers Prime when it first came out. I was like, they're just sort of ripping off animated, and Bulkhead also came out of that too. I mean, I warmed to the show very quickly, and now it's become like one of my staples. But I remember having that feeling too, like this animated set this tone. You're standing on the shoulders of giants here.
Absolutely. I also noticed, as I'm revisiting this picture of Percy, two things. One, there's a comment from the one and only Paul Eiding, my favorite for obvious reasons. So Paul Eiding, previous guest of CybFest Northwest and the voice of Perceptor, game recognized game. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's
but also,
awesome.
If you look on the right-hand side with this, the Bright Spark coloring book and a Soundwave drink of coffee over there, that's Apollo's table.
Oh, cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool to have that included accidentally.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But you got a Skyfire, you got Soundwave, Megatron, Ratchet, another Megatron. Like this poor young lady was toting around this enormous fusion cannon all day, and
that's
I believe
amazing.
That's not Bushido, it's Bushibo or something. The sexy Megatron, let's put it that way, to match the very similar Optimus Prime as well, and I think there's a Bumblebee as well. But these were the guys I was telling you about earlier. So that's on the left is Alex Gobb, who designed CARBOT Darcy, and his dad Greg Gobb, who shaved his beard, who had a very large bushy beard, shaved that down play a spark plug there. And those you can't really see it here in the picture, but that those boots that they're wearing are like really strangely detailed. Like I was sitting next to Alex at the organizers panel, and I kept looking over. I'm like, those boots are cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Boy, perfect casting for that duo to come up with that. That's brilliant.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I wanted to share the cosplay as well, and I wanted to close this out with a is this it? I could do a screen share here. I wanted to read some comments and tell more stories. So when I think of CybFest Northwest, this is the picture that I will always think of. So this is my dude, Magnus von Braun, who, just giving a warm hug to, I think that's his nephew or something. So he runs a dealer table, but just, that's what it is. It's community, it's family. But CybFest posted, Whirl actually posted this. Now that it's been a couple days, what's your favorite story from CybFest Northwest? Did you win a prize in the raffle? Did you get a toy you've been wanting for a long time? Mikel Andrews sure did. Did you get to see someone you haven't seen in a while? Our friend Aaron snapped this photo of his nephew with Atomic Mariachi Robot. Quote, easily the best thing I got today was seeing how happy my nephew was. It was his nephew's first CybFest and was given a Velocitron Scourge. He is Atomic Mariachi Robot's, quote, self-proclaimed #1 fan. And again, that's what I think of when I think of CybFest. And just our community.
Awesome.
But there were some wholesome stories that came out of this. And Noah wrote this, and I don't know Noah, but they must have been tabling. My favorite story was a couple of kids who came by looking at my Studio Series figures. I forget which one the older one asked about, but it was $75 to $100 for a fairly rare bot. I love giving kids good deals, so I said, let's make it happen, ! He says, quote, I don't got money like that, and starts to walk away. I yelled for him to hold up and handed he and his brother each a mint in-box core class figure. An hour or two later, they came back with mom, this time with 2 more siblings. My problem was I had already sold all but one of my core class figures away, and I had 2 kiddos. Luckily, one of them wanted an Optimus Prime Funko Pop, and the little girl got Exosuit Spike Witwicky. Mom and kids all gave me a big thank you, but I didn't do it for that. I did it to make sure the kids didn't leave empty-handed. Runner up, I dealt one kiddo who had $5 left, including $2 in quarters. My $10 figure wasn't close, but hell, I had to do it. I handed him a $1 bill back and said I couldn't take it from him. He was stoked.
Oh, wow.
Honorable mention, 15 to 20 people purchased figures for me that were grail finds for them. I was really apprehensive at first when I started to sell this particular collection of mint inside box Studio Series figure, but seeing how many people also appreciate them and that they're all going to good homes was worth it. I don't care if you open them or not. I couldn't. CybFest was a blast! !
Oh, I love it.
And so there was a lot of conversation about that, but again, that's what CybFest means to me. Sure, it was terrific hanging out with Sue. Sure, she gave me some, great wisdom. I love the autograph. I love CARBOT DARCY. I love the drawings, the bracelets, the gifts, the great deal on the Skywarp, getting a Holy Grail item for my dude Mikel Andrews, sending people to the movies. Talking with my fellow organizers about what CybFest means to us and all that. That's all great. That's all cool. Seeing Scotty in his Bumblebee Camaro. Seeing the robots, the actual cast iron orcas, and the actual robots moving like road cones around, and seeing teenagers be interested in STEM and technology and stuff like that. Seeing all the Legos and stuff. That's all cool. That's all fine. But throw all that at the end of the day, and seeing my dude Magnus giving that kid a big bear hug like that, and hearing stories about how dealers aren't going to take a kid's last dollar and hook them up with toys. That's, to me, that's what it's about. Family, friends, community, Transformers.
Wow.
That's Northwest 2024.
Wow. Yeah. I gotta go there. I've just decided I have to make it to one.
if you do, we would have to do a panel of some kind, like tales from two mics or something like that. Because really, kind of talking about the dichotomy between our dynamics, like you being a serial rewatcher and me being a first time viewer, and it's going to be a lot of like, dummy, this stuff was there the whole time. Didn't you know?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I just want to be part of that show. Makes me want to move there. Actually, I want that local vibe. When I see the skyline on the back of the CARBOT Darcy box,
Mhm.
there's some inclusivity there that I want a part of.
Absolutely. You got the Space Needle. And in fact, I don't have it in hand with me, but Ben Hansen did a exclusive print for CybFest where it's this view. In fact, this is where the package art comes from. This is taken from the print, but basically there's we call it the Ship Canal Bridge, where basically it crosses over Puget Sound, and it's one of the most breathtaking views of the city. But also one of the things that Seattle is known for is traffic. So it's this view of the city, but it's RC and friends stuck in traffic. So it's RC in truck mode. You might see the trailer of a familiar red truck. You might see a familiar little yellow compact, but you see other cars in there as well that aren't identifiable as Transformers.
When I first saw that print, I thought it would be, I didn't know. I mean, but there was part of me that thought or assumed that, this is a print year after year, and you just add the robot of the voice that you get for the show. Like, because I was like, they must have
a good idea.
dropped in RC when they got Sue Blue. I think that'd be a really funny gimmick.
That would be pretty cool. I'll run that by Ben. I think he would kind of like that idea. But the other cars that aren't robots are cars. The organizer team. So it's like it's
subtle stuff.
Ironically enough, for all and this is all to Mike's canon because we litigated this on a live stream. So my new Honda Accord that we spent hours litigating colors on is canon for an exclusive print for CybFest. It's like so now I can't get rid of that car because it's
wow.
And also I've learned a lot of people drive blue sedans because like half of the cars in there are blue sedans.
Oh man, that's great. That's awesome. What a show. What a show.
And I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff I'm leaving out, but like, I mean, like there are folks that traveled, like, Apollo came up from Portland. Some of the Swerves folks came up from California. I had some other friends that came from like southern, more South Washington, that's still a couple hours away. And that's what we're seeing in our incremental growth is that like more folks are coming from further away, and it's mind blowing. Like it's heartwarming, but it's also mind blowing. It's like there's going to come a point where we're going to outgrow either our current time frame of being a one-day show, or we're going to outgrow the facility. I don't think we're at either of those places yet, but it's when you are hand printing and badge stuffing over 300 badges for folks, because like I'm tangled up in my headphones, but like basically like this badge has got my name on it, and like everybody who pre-registers gets a lanyard and a badge with your name on it. Cool. And a couple raffle tickets inside. So but anyway, so that's not just something I have just because I'm staff. Like I have a drawer full of these from when I just went as a fan. Cool. So, I mean, it's very labor intensive. Like we were up pretty late Friday night, like stuffing all these badges, and it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so many people. We got to do something different next year. Either that or stop growing. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So I think that's about all I have about CybFest Northwest 2024. Mikel Andrews, any other lingering questions, comments, concerns that we may not have addressed before?
I don't think so. I think you scratched the itch of me going to that convention. Now I got to get there in person. That's my next step for sure. But that'll satiate me for another year.
I love it. Well, would love to have you. You're always welcome. So if you are watching on the video or listening on this portion of the podcast, we will see you later. Make good choices. But with that being said, Mikel Andrews, shall we talk about an episode of Transformers
Yes.
Animated?